Pokemon! This is a battle against not Dan. His name is One Deathclock, and I will post a link to his YouTube profile in the description. This is the first battle of the MTG Xerxes tournament, which was referenced in the last video. Here, go. Okay, so he leads with a Drapion, and I lead with Tyranitar. So I know he's either poison or dark. And then he switches up predicting the Earthquake, and I used Earth Power, but I guess he didn't realize that it was Earth Power instead of Earthquake because he left his Altaria in, and I have the Ice Beam because I'm a specialty tar. So that's going to one-hit KO the Altaria, no problem. So the Altaria goes down, and I'm sitting pretty and really easy 6-5 right off the bat. And he goes into Charizard to threaten, but I don't switch out, so he goes for the DD, but I just go for the T-Bolt. And I was expecting this to KO, but it doesn't. But it comes close. So at this point, I'm fearing the Earthquake. So I switch out into this dude, but he actually has the Brick Break. And I figured he would die in one hit after the Sandstorm. But he actually has the Shell Bell, so he doesn't die. So I have to take an Earthquake from him, unfortunately. So yeah, the Enigma Berry brought me back from the Brick Break, but the Earthquake will still do some significant damage. Not significant, but decent damage after one DD on the Charizard. But a safe crunch, will take him out. I do the Aqua Tail on this guy, but as you will see in the future, it has unreliable accuracy. So it goes back to his lead, Drapion. I go for Superpower because I thought it was going to be super effective, but it wasn't because Poison resists fighting apparently. And he goes for the Aqua Pressure instead of getting the second layer of Toxic Spikes, which is important. And I just go for the Aqua Tail even though my attack is lowered, just because I don't want him to keep setting up with Acupressure. Anyways, he has a Citrus Berry, so at this point I'm like, oh shit, I can't do any damage, so I switch out. I go into Metagross to threaten with the Earthquake, and he just goes for another Acupressure. He hasn't got anything really important yet. He's got speed, but that's not a big deal. So he goes for Thunder Fang, and it does nothing, but it paralyzes. I mean, come on. But whatever. So my Metagross is slow anyway, so I don't really mind. So I go for the Earthquake. See, it doesn't even finish him off. Yeah, so I get a bit back from Shell Bell, and then he dies from Sandstorm. So whatever, works for me. He goes into Venusaur, so that's a Leech Seed. I really can't deal with Venusaur on this. I have no one on my team to deal with Venusaur. So I explode, which is what this Metagross is meant to do, take out the biggest threat that my team can't deal with. So yeah, so by now I know his team is flying poison. So he goes into Aerodactyl, protects I guess the Scout as I Toxic, and then I predict him to go into a Poison poke because I counted and his last poke had to be Poison, so I don't Toxic again, I Skill Swap instead just in case, you know, it did something cool. It didn't really, it just took a Shed Skin I guess from him. So then he goes for the super effective Flamethrower. Actually it's 4 times effective, but I'm pretty defensive, so I survive, and I get the Citrus Berry. And at this point I actually predict him, I use the Toxic there just to burn a turn because I know he's going to die. I actually predict him to not use it again, and so I stay in because he would predict my switch, and I go for the Endeavor, which worked out perfectly. So that's basically what the Bestis is meant to do. The Swarm Dam is meant to do is survive hits that people don't think it would, and then Endeavor. It's pretty good. He actually hit the wrong berry on Swiper, which is too bad, but it doesn't affect the match because he doesn't get hit by Confusion. He just finishes me off with the Flamethrower. I just let Wormadam die, did its part. Yeah, so then I go directly into my what's it called? Bang. My lead gets poisoned. It's just a normal poison though, not a toxic poison, which is good for me. I use the Ice Beam to start setting up for Metronome, so because I figured he was gonna predict, but I guess that solves Metronome. I don't know, whatever. Metronome sucks anyways. So yeah, I figured I've won now because he only has 1 poke left, so I'm just mashing the Ice Beam here, but I see the substitute. I was like, oh, what the hell, substitute and protect? That's bullshit. I thought only my Ninjask had that. And So I'm like, well, whatever, you're still gonna die eventually. I was just waiting for him to earthquake when I was low enough. But he just keeps subbing down, so I'm not really sure why. I'm just like, okay, I guess you're just poison stalling, even though, I mean, I have like 4 other pokes, or 3 other pokes, or whatever. And at this point, I figure out that he actually has Roost. And I didn't even know what to say. I mean, Roost, Protect, and Sub. I don't know. So I assumed his last move was like a stab or a earthquake or something. Oh yeah, it couldn't be stab, obviously. So I assumed it was earthquake. So I didn't even know what to do. I was like, okay, so I guess I'll just keep going until I get a chance to attack. And it was right at this point, on the last turn of Bang's life, where I realized that my best chance of killing him was hitting him with an Earth Power on a Roost. But I never really had that opportunity, or I didn't realize it soon enough, so I was kind of screwed at this point. The switch out there to my Cradley was actually a misclick. I was sitting there for a really long time thinking I accidentally hit it. So that sucked. I got poisoned on it early, but that's fine. So I went to this guy. I go for the Aqua Tail, just because it's super effective, and yeah. But I'm getting really low, and I'm starting to get worried here. I don't think there's anything I can do. The Aqua Tail and the sub misses, which kind of sucked. So I was actually expecting him to Earthquake next turn. I saved this guy just in case, and I switch out expecting the Earthquake, but he just Roosts. So I'm starting to think, yeah, I curse here just to sort of bait the Earthquake, like, but I only have Earthquake. I don't think he knows that. I only have Earthquake on my Cradley, so I can't even hurt him. So I eventually just switch out, because I didn't realize that Super Fan could actually break subs. But then I looked it up, and I realized it could, so I was like, okay, I still have a chance. So this is a really long part, this is why I'm speeding it up. It's, I don't know, like, fucking 15 minutes long or something. I realized that my only real chance is to totally PP stall him out. I'm lucky I have Steel types on my team that are immune to the poison, otherwise I would totally have lost. But yeah, I have my Mawile here who is immune to the poison. So I'm just sitting here using all my moves. Yeah, and eventually I find out what his last move is once he's finished. Once he's finished using all his PP. And he was actually sending me messages. He was like, "Yeah, you've won." I was like, "No way, man! Like, this could go either way." He's like, "No, my last move is toxic," and I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." So I knew that struggle would work in my favor because he's out of substitutes at this point, and I have no more moves that can break the sub, but I have struggle. So 2 struggles will break his sub, bring me down to about half, and then I just keep struggling because I want to fodder Mawile, because my Rhyperior has only 1 turn left. He actually has the Jacoba berry, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so I die from my own struggle, and basically he is now defenseless and free for me to hit. So I go into Strawberry for the Toxic, which is the guaranteed win. Basically, he thought he still had a chance because he didn't know I was packing Recover. But here I show Recover, and he was like, "Oh, good game." So yeah, that's the end of the game. The rest is just me Toxic stalling and recovering. It was a close match. It was a good match. He didn't expect my special T-Tar, and I was doing really good at the beginning, but then I didn't expect his total walling Aerodactyl, so good play, and I was lucky I had enough pokes left to PP stall him out. So it was a good match, and this actually put me through to the second round of the tournament. I only had to battle 1 guy, I don't know why, but that's just the way it worked. And so, the rest of the tournament, well, the rest of my part of the tournament will be posted eventually. Good Game 1 Death Clock. Check him out in the description. Goodbye.